Hey ladies and gents, Joe here, the guy who is sadly addicted to League of Legends again, and I'm here to talk about UFC 296, and it was a show. I actually really enjoyed the prelims, but the main card not so much. So enough talk, let's get to the fights. The main event was Colby Chaos Covington taking on Leon Edwards, and man, did this fight make it obvious that Colby Covington was gifted a title shot he didn't deserve. It wasn't a smashing, but I thought it was a dominant showing for Leon, who only really just got controlled a little bit in the final two rounds, and I could see people giving it to Colby, but even then, I thought Leon was doing really well from his back and defending well, and I thought he nearly hit some submissions in there as well that looked pretty good. One was a triangle armbar that I thought, I saw him lock the legs and I went, he's got it right. And it seemed like he let it go. I'd have to watch the fight again, but I don't want to because here's the thing. This fight stunk up the joint. Colby put on no pressure at all really in this fight. He was just kind of getting eaten up by kicks and the occasional counter punch. I really feel like the snap kick up the middle and the feints of Leon were really kind of taking away his whole game plan. You don't really want to rush in, kind of put on that pressure if a guy's fainting all the time. Because it's one thing, Colby will fake like he's going to go in and then draw a counter and then rush. And that's sometimes he'll do that, or sometimes he'll just get in there and try and block a counter. He doesn't also want to get hit by this guy who does hit hard. Leon does hit. Leon hits super hard, and he has the capacity to be one of the most exciting fighters in the sport. But he's really, really cautious, and I'm not going to say timid. That's the word I want to use, but I shouldn't use it. It's not accurate. He's very, very cautious to almost a fault. So I think Colby knew that, and he could put him out with a counter shot. And was just kind of waiting. He sees all these feints. He's getting nervous. The snap kicks are coming, which definitely will stop aggression on someone. And Leon just kind of got to be on cruise control, just chopping his leg, beating him up, kind of. Not really a lot of damage he did to Colby. He hit him with some good shots, obviously, and he did corral him with a good head kick at one point. And the low kicks were nasty, nasty damage to the leg. But he wasn't really going for the finish. It's not his style. He isn't the kind of guy to do that. It's not the worst fight ever kind of bad. It's not like that. It's just, it's not a great main event when you're looking for that adrenaline shot when everybody's tired at the end of the night for a main event. That's kind of something you want. So what do I think is next for the champion? It's pretty clear to me. It's Belal Muhammad. And man, I am predicting that fight is going to stink. It's going to be boring, I think. Two pretty boring guys. In my opinion, I think Leon can be boring. He definitely can be. Belal is boring. So, but hey, it'll be a fight between the two best welterweights on the planet, at least, besides Shavkat. But more on that guy later, because obviously I'm pretty high on that horse. And then for the co-main event, we see Alejandra Pantoja take on Brandon Raw Dog Royval. And as many of you know, I was critical of Pantoja just trying to get the fight to the ground and holding on for dear life against Moreno, where he was getting pieced up on the feet. And he did that to a decision win. Does he do that here against Royval? Yes and no. So early on, he is doing his trademark blitz into a takedown, and he's actively going for submissions. Nearly gets him a couple times with a really wicked neck crank that I thought was it. Royval fought out. He kept going and kept surviving. But Pantoja, though, back to him, he was really working on the ground. He wasn't, resting on his laurels here, wasn't resting because he's hurt or anything. He's working. He was just kind of having a really hard time locking in that submission. And we knew he was going to gas, because he gasses in a lot of fights, Pantoja. He has kind of a gas tank issue, because his style he doesn't have a gas tank all that well. He's got a good one, but not great at flyweight, I guess would be the word, the phrasing I would use here. And his style doesn't really allow for conservation of energy. So we knew he was going to get tired because in the Moreno fight, he looked exhausted. He would just hold on the fight and just hold on the mat, take back control, and just, he'd kind of just do that. And here he starts kind of doing that. He starts kind of controlling and, but to his credit, he was getting pieced up on the feet in the final 2 rounds. He was just kind of holding him at those points, but a lot of active punches coming from Royval. And Royval, we know he has the power to put a lot of people away at 125, but he himself is tired because he's been fighting off of his back for most of the fight, trying to get elbows and not get submitted. Like, grappling will wear you out. Grappling is, in my opinion, more exhausting than striking. So, yeah, and when you're fighting to stay off the mat and you're still getting taken down, it's definitely a thing that's going to wear you out. And so Royval, with all these things, even though he's landing great shots, he isn't able to get the finish. I didn't think he could, but I was really hoping he could, admittingly. I thought it'd be kind of a fun little shot in the arm for the division. The division's doing great. I don't know why I worded it like that. But it'd be exciting, I guess, would be, you know what I mean? Nothing he could really do, but I did score him around near the end of the fight. And Pantoja wins a unanimous decision win. And the question is, who is next for him? I think there's 2 guys. I forgot who. My brain says Evloev, but no, that's not him. Is it I think it's Albazi that Moreno's fighting. Yeah, one of those 2 guys, obviously. But Manel Cape, I think, can make a case for a rematch. Because those guys, yeah, they fought. I think Manel Cape can make a case for a rematch for a title shot here against Pantoja. And I know some people here, and Moreno, obviously, I think if he wins, he's probably getting one. And I know some people are sick of rematches, but here's my opinion on it. This is just my opinion. If Max Holloway, let's say Volkanovski beats Topuria, Max Holloway beats Yair 3 times in a row or something, I don't know, beats Yair, Ortega, Emmett, Arnold Allen again, and Calvin Kattar for good measure, maybe even Giga. He beats all these guys or whatever. He deserves a 4th shot. Like, if you're the number 2 guy in the division, you've earned it. Like, it's not a case of, like, well, we're just going to ignore you. Like, no, you can't ignore him. If Robert Whittaker beat Dricus du Plessis, he would have gotten a shot against Adesanya. At least he should have. And that's how it is. That's how it should be. It's a meritocracy. That's just my opinion, though. I'm really curious if there's a name at the top of my head that I couldn't think of at Flyweight. I didn't grab any names at the top. I just kind of was like, I know the division enough. I can probably think of it. And my brain was like, well, Figueiredo beat him. Maybe that. I'm like, oh, wait, no, he's at 135 now. Oops. So I was like, I'll just kind of go with the top of my head. But maybe there's someone I'm missing. I'd be really curious to see if you guys have anyone you'd like to see get a shot at Pantoja. But the rest of the card, Wonderboy walked out to Tenacious D, which was sick. But it didn't stop him from getting submitted in the 2nd round with an impressive performance by Shavkat Rakhmonov. I can never say his last name. Get this guy a title shot after Belal, of course, because I'm tired of Belal Muhammad getting passed over. It's really kind of sad. It reminds you of Benny, and we saw what happened when Benny didn't get a title shot. I would hate to see that for any fighter who has earned it. Paddy Pimblett, he nearly finished Tony Ferguson in the 1st round. Then he was gassed out and just kind of controlled Tony on the mat for the latter 2 rounds, trying to finish him when he could with random spurts of energy. It was just depressing, and I hated every minute of it. It was a decision win for Paddy. Josh Emmett got a picture-perfect KO of the Year contender with a win over Bryce Mitchell. Alonzo Minifield beat Dustin Jacoby in a pretty good fight for a unanimous decision win. Irene Aldana and Carol Rosa had a fantastic back-and-forth brawl, with Irene getting a unanimous decision there. Cody Garbrandt looked good in a KO win over Brian Kelleher, and I'm going to say this. This is an opinion. I think this is a scientific fact. Everyone is a fan of Cody Garbrandt because the better we all want him to do well and get to that level again, because the better he does, the more chances he gets to talk, which is, that's like the best part, right? It's always a delight, even if he himself isn't in on this joke. Ariane Lipsky got a 2nd round armbar over Casey O'Neill, which kind of just kills that hype for Casey O'Neill completely. Tagir Alunbekov got a rear naked choke win over Cody Durden in an impressive 2nd round showing. Andre Fili, huge KO over Lucas Almeida in the 1st. And finally, Shamil Gazayev impressed tons of people with a 2nd round TKO over Martin Boudet. And that is it for me, the final recap of the year. But don't worry, I'll be back next year. And if you really miss me, there is a retro review that came out over John Dodson and Demetrius Johnson, their first showing. Go check it out if you haven't. It's on the second channel right now. We really want that retro review series to really pop off, so I'm pumped myself for it. And honestly, though, I can't wait to start my third calendar year with the INC family. It's kind of insane to me to think I'm still, not still here. I knew I was gonna be here. I'm the man. But crazy to think that I'm in this position now. It's pretty sweet, and I admittingly love it. It's fantastic. And while I said this would be the final recap of the year, if time allows me, kind of a busy time for me with work and family and all that, and I am getting over a bit of a flu currently. Because I got sick like Sunday that night, and I wasn't feeling good, and I called in Monday, and I just toughed out this week. So I'm getting over that. Hopefully, it's a full recovery. I'm like 90%, I'd say. Just really coughing. I'm going to try and get something quick and pretty cool, I think, for you guys, potentially. I know me and Carl we've been talking about doing like end of the year stuff, so we're going to see. Hopefully this isn't the final video of the year, and if it is, we apologize, but it's just how life is. Busy times for both of us, as everyone knows. Once again, I am Joe with the INC, and thank you so much for watching.